Greetings everybody, I'm Lobo and welcome to Luna. We are not currently in Luna, but this is episode 116 of my Minecraft survival series, and I decided to spend some time in between episodes kind of scouting at the area, seeing if I can find anything cool, and all I've really managed to find is myself lost, so that's a thing. Yeah, I was thinking maybe if I climb this mountain right here, I might be able to get a better idea of where I am and kind of get my bearings. That turned out not to be the case. Okay, crisis averted. We are now back in Luna, and I need to go ahead and gather supplies for today's project. And I'm going through our surface chests, the ones that I haven't put the contents of them inside our storage system yet, because well, I would honestly really like to get some of this stuff out of the way so that's less stuff to run through the storage system and have to wait to be sorted and all that. So yeah, I think we're going to probably try to use as much of this stuff as we can in some future projects just to get it out of the way. And today's project will take place over here at the Eclipse Outpost, so I've done some back and forth between here and Luna, kind of running over the supplies that I think we'll need for today's project, which has so far included a bunch of stone and concrete mix, and we'll probably end up having to go get some more stuff a little bit later, but I think this is good enough to start with for now. Alright, so here's what we're going to do first of all. First of all, we need to go ahead and kind of move our villagers into this area, our new fortified circle area where they should be safe from all the pillagers and the raiders and anybody that wishes to cause them harm. Because remember, right here is where we're attempting to make a raid farm, a pillager raid farm. And I do say attempting because, I don't really know the proper way to do this. So guys, it's time to pack up your stuff and get going over here. So I think first of all, we're just gonna get a floor and some low walls in and just make sure that nothing can hurt these guys. Hey, this is my project site. You find your own project site, lady. So yeah, I think at this point, we'll go ahead and call Watchdog out here, put on some music, and just get these guys moved over. Welcome back, everybody. I think I might have clipped this guy as I was jumping over. I'm sorry about that. Hope I didn't disturb your slumber or anything. But yeah, we do have some temporary accommodations in for these guys now, and they're fine. They're sleeping soundly over here. Well, maybe not soundly because it looks like they're a little bit restless at the moment. It's not because they need blankets, because we're in the desert area, so it's kind of warm out here. This guy is comfortable. This guy is comfortable on my bed. But I just had some in the chest. All right. Anyway, today's project is going to be trying to get our raid farm functionally complete. So as I said, this is temporary accommodations for them. We're not working on the aesthetics or anything like that today. Right now, we're just trying to make this raid farm actually work so we know if it's worth actually building over here. So here's a little refresher on what we've done so far. Once we turn this thing on, that's going to activate our spawning room. And our spawning room is this big old area right over here, and I'll go inside so you can actually see. I do apologize, it's going to be really dark in here. Last time we had night vision potions. I didn't make any this time. But basically what happens is our pillagers spawn in here along with other mobs, and they will get washed down into a central water stream. And then from that water stream, they will go underground towards our village. Like that spider right here, he's going to go and get washed towards our village and the drop chamber at the center of that area. Upon reaching the drop chamber, our mobs will be propelled upwards, and then they will come this way and fall down taking a substantial amount of fall damage in the process, and we got that banner guy. He's the reason why we made that big spawning room, is to get these banner guys so we can actually start our raids. Now, one thing I want to do is see what kind of drops we actually get from these guys after the raid starts. So I'm going to go ahead and get like a little basic sword system built in here first. It's going to be temporary. Eventually we'll do item sorters and all that stuff, but yeah, right now I just want to see. Alright, so I got my hoppers in place, but quickly before we move on, I noticed that not all mobs seem to be making their way into our drop chamber, and I kind of want to see why. So we got some coming over here at this point, and you can see that they're definitely trying to fight the current, and they are getting stuck. They're getting stuck. Okay, so what we're probably going to have to... Nope, now he's tracking me. Okay. So they are getting stuck here. Let's see if we can nudge these guys. There we go. And you as well? Okay. So yeah, we're going to have to come up with a mechanism here to make sure these guys don't get stuck here. Maybe something to nudge them the way I just did. So I had an idea, which I will explain in just a moment, I guess. So I had an idea that what we could do is use some slime blocks to push our mobs into the water stream, which means that these fence posts should probably go away. And I don't think that's going to interfere with our bubble columns. That's going to let some water down here. But yeah, I think that should work. That should work to push our mobs out of the way. We just have to wire this piston up to a clock and have that clock activated by our switch up there when we actually turn this thing on. Alright, the redstone clock is now activated, and that is something I did not take into consideration. The fence gates move with the slime blocks. Of course they do, because that's what slime blocks do. They grab blocks, right? So I guess what we could do is just get rid of the slime blocks and do 3 pistons here, right? We could do... I don't know. Would this actually not... this might actually work. Hold on, let's see this real quick. Yeah, so that would actually work. This is what would happen to the mobs. They would just... Okay, so you know what? It might not be the most elegant solution, but that's what we're rolling with right now because I already built it. And it works. I mean, what more can you ask for? Well, you know what? I am not a good test subject. Let's see how it works with the actual mobs that are going to be coming down here. I turned this thing back on for the time being, and it does seem to be doing what we intended it to do, so that's good. I'm going to sit down here and watch it for just a few minutes to make sure, but this is looking pretty promising so far. Let me just watch one more. One more. Perfect. Let's go ahead and turn this off now that we're done troubleshooting stuff we did in a previous episode. And I would like to have this back, thank you. And yeah, we're going to get plenty of arrows from this. It's kind of pointless to have an infinity bow at this point, I think. Maybe a mending bow would be better, the next bow we make. But yeah, now we need to start focusing on raids. We need to focus on how to get our raid parties that spawn out here on the land into our drop chamber. And also, raid parties are going to be spawning up here because even though it's torched up, they'll spawn regardless of light level. That eventually, though, is going to be non-spawnable because we'll build a structure out of it. We'll just make sure to make the roof of it non-spawnable. That's not an issue. What we need to worry about is getting the raid parties that form out here on the land into our drop chamber. And I think to do that, what we're going to do is force our raiders down into the existing water stream, which kind of runs down right here. It's 3 wide, so this would be right outside of it. Yeah, we're going to force them down into the existing water stream, and I know it's just 1 water stream. It would be faster if I did, like, water stream on each side, right? We have 4 of them, but I don't really want to overcomplicate this too much. So I'm thinking this will probably be good. It'll be a little bit slower than it could be, but I think it'll be dependable at least, and that's what I want here. We probably need to elevate this a little bit so anybody in the water stream can't jump out, right? So yeah, I'm going to have to do a bit of digging. And also, I'm going to do a bit of redstone relocation as well because I want our redstone line to run underneath all this because I do still want it underground. Now, what we're going to do is dig a trench around this entire circle structure that we made, like our safe area. We're going to dig a trench around this so any raiders that run towards it end up in the water streams that are going to be surrounding it and get pushed into that center water stream. Which means since there are going to be raiders down here, we do want to block this off, but probably not with that. I think what we might use is a combination of stone for this lower area, and then probably stone brick for the top areas, just so it looks a little bit nicer. And then we're going to continue digging this trench around the entire safe area, which I think I'm just going to refer to as the village from this point onward, because that's what our raiders are going to be attacking. They're going to be attacking the village and the villagers within it and myself. So yeah, we're just going to dig a square trench around this entire area, and a circle one might look better and go better with the build that we intend to make here, but the thing is, I'm not sure how dependable that's going to be with regard to actually moving our raiders and stuff into the water stream. So I think just for ease of use, we're going to make this a square for right now. And something that just occurred to me, and this would have been nice to think of before we put all this grass and stuff in around here, is the fact that we don't want animals spawning out here because they could potentially make their way into the water streams and into our system, which needless to say would be bad for their well-being and also my conscience. So we may have to actually get a new floor in here on the outside as well. So I think what we're going to do to control spawning, because we do want to make sure nothing at all spawns right here on the outside of our village, right? I think what we're going to do is put non-spawnable blocks down here, and we're probably not going to stick with this smooth stone. I just had some smelted up. I didn't have any leaves with me. Eventually, this will probably end up being kind of a landscaped area, which will be non-spawnable. But in addition to this, what we're going to do is just raise the ground up by 1. That way we can put whatever new floor we want in here on top of the grass. That way we don't have to go and take all that stuff out. Kind of saves us a little bit of trouble. So tiny hiccup in this plan, what I have come to realize is that if we continue to have our water streams drop down every 7 or 8 blocks as we go along here, then on the far side over here, we're going to have our top water stream being at about this level on top of this block, which needless to say is not going to work, or at least is not going to look good. So what we're going to have to do, I think, is push them along a straightaway right here, and then have it drop down as we get closer towards the end of this. So let's see if I can remember how to do this. I believe if we did something like this, that continues our water flowing this way where we want it to flow. Can you flow? Thank you. And then what we do is we have another water stream that kind of goes into right underneath that. So that way the mobs are always in water. They're always in motion as they move along here. Yeah, I think that's going to work. So let's just go ahead and test this thing out to make sure I didn't do something silly here. So yeah, we do have this whole side covered in water basically, and I'm not touching any buttons, not pressing anything, and I just want to make sure that we continue to move along here, which we do. Okay, awesome. All right, now that we have our trench dug and our water streams in, we need to encourage our pillagers. How did you get out here? Listen, hey, villagers, you need to watch your... And okay, great. Now I have to rescue them. You know what? I hope you know what an inconvenience this is for me. You know, I haven't had much experience with cats prior to making my way to this village. Are you serious? Oh, man. As I was saying, I haven't had too much experience with cats in Minecraft prior to making my way to this village. And looking back, those were good times. As I was saying, we need to encourage our pillagers to walk into the water stream. So what I think we're going to do is use the old trapdoor trick, and I really hope this still applies because I don't really keep up with things in this game as much as I should. So mobs should think they can walk straight across this even when the trapdoors are down. So obviously they'll think they'll be going across, but they will in actuality be falling down into the water streams. I hope this is going to work. I do. Otherwise, we're going to be doing more redstone and more water. And I'm honestly just not looking forward to that if that's the case. So for my own peace of mind, I think we're going to have to go ahead and test this thing out. So I've got the trapdoors in surrounding this thing. We've got the farm now on, and you can feel the lag building from it. We've got all the water moving and the mob spawning now. So yeah, I think what we're going to have to do is go ahead and initiate a raid and just see if the pillagers actually do make their way into the water stream. All right, here we go. Raid is initiated. And I think I just want to climb up here and see where and how these guys are spawning, at least in their first wave. That is looking promising. They went right in, didn't they? All right, that's awesome. Hi. Yeah, so we're off to a good start. Wave 2 is currently coming in, and these guys are moving right in here just as they should. That guy was kind of hanging out a little bit. They actually may not move unless we get close to them because they don't really have a line of sight in here. So what we could maybe do is make them think they could actually get inside, right? So we could have like little openings like this and kind of fill them in with trapdoors or something we can kind of open and close, and the villagers aren't going to be able to get out of, I'm thinking. And wave 3 brings in the Ravager. I just want to see if he makes his way into the trench. So 2 wide is big enough for this, which is good because I wasn't thinking about him when I actually dug that. Otherwise, I would have just played it safe and gone 1 extra. But yeah, let me go ahead and finish getting these trapdoors in around here. And then we'll go ahead and start wave 4, and wave 4 consists of some witches that are making their way over here with these guys, and they all go into the water, which is awesome. Ow. I have feather falling. The joke's on you. I should really get a roof on that thing though, because that's a little dangerous. So at this point, I've kind of lost track of where we are wave-wise, but yeah, I mean, you know, that's not important. What is important is that this thing does seem to be working, and it seems to be working the way that we intended it to work. With the slight exception that, you know, occasionally I do have to kind of, you know, get like a line of sight with these pillagers to get them running in. So I think we might do, I don't know, we'll figure out a better way to do all that, just to lure them more towards the village rather than me having to, you know, leave and run around this whole thing. But overall, you know, I gotta say, I'm feeling pretty positive about this so far, and I feel pretty good about our chances moving forward of having an actual working raid farm by the end of this video. So I think what I'm going to do at this point is just kind of finish off this raid, and yeah, then we'll kind of, you know, take our next steps. I hear a Ravager. He should be coming down here fairly soon. I'm just gonna wait for him real quick. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. Here he comes. Hey there, big boy. So yeah, remember when I said I was feeling positive about this? That was before we had 1 mob remaining. And I can almost guarantee it's not that guy, because I've been waiting a while. I've been waiting a while for this guy to show up, and he hasn't. Which means he's gotten lost somewhere. So yeah, not such a great sign. So at this point, I have circled the entire perimeter, and I have not come across any raiders out here. So maybe he's managed to find a hole and gotten underground, but I plugged up all the caves and stuff on this end. Then again, maybe he wandered further away and then got into a cave. That's a possibility, I guess. But if that is the case, I can't find him. So I don't know, unless he like wandered really far from our raid area. There's only so many caves that I left uncovered in this area. I don't know. I was thinking maybe there was a chance that he got caught up somewhere in our water streams, but yeah, no, I don't think he did, because the only guys coming over here are these guys from the mob farm. Oh, we got a chicken. Take that, chicken to the face. So apparently that guy is no longer an issue. I was going around here looking for him. I never found him, but apparently something happened to him because our next wave has now begun, which is not a good thing because I am not in our village, and I don't know what the chances are of the raid spawning in the village, but our villagers are now potentially in danger, so we should probably hurry back there as quickly as we can. And hope that, okay, the raid did spawn outside the village. That's awesome. There's a lot of guys here. So I think, yeah, I'm just gonna run this way and get inside as quick as I can. And this way brings up something else I did not account for, and that is the fact that evokers like to attack from a distance, and they like to send their Vex and those things in here. So yeah, he's not running towards the water. He doesn't need to attack me. So we're going to have to maybe figure out a way to wash him towards this area so that way he doesn't hang back like he is. Because these guys are annoying. I'm so glad that my buddy over here... Ow. Will you handle this guy, please? Jeez, I'll get these guys. You get that guy. Thank you. Things are getting out of hand. This is not looking promising. Forget what I said a few ways back. Things have changed here. We got evokers coming in and oh no, that was a traitor. I did not. He was invisible. I am so. Oh, now the llamas hate me. I am sorry. Stop spitting on me. I'm sorry. How was I to know? How was I to know? All right, so let's just go ahead and finish this wave off and this raid off because, yeah, there's a lot of stuff we need to consider in order to make this actually work. One of those things being our evokers. They're a huge issue. The other thing being this, that we have one mob remaining still. And he's not outside. I took care of the guys outside. I gotta do this all over again now? Okay, so apparently something happened to that guy, so the raid is now officially over, but that does leave us with some issues that we have to address moving forward with this farm. The first thing being the evokers, and the more important thing being that we can't actually get these raids to end because we keep losing a raider. So let's go ahead and think about the evokers first. How are we going to handle them? I'm thinking water streams. Yeah, more water streams. Because they attack when they're within 12 blocks of me or my iron golem. And what I'm thinking is, well, we just have it so whenever they get within 12 blocks, they're already going into the water stream and getting washed towards our trench. So I experimented over here with the corners and stuff like that, making sure they all get washed towards the trench. And I think for the rest of this, we're just going to pretty much go straight. And, you know, water streams are pretty simple to do that way. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get some of this in place. And then we'll talk about the other issue we're having. Actually, let's go ahead and talk about that other issue, not knowing where our raiders are spawning or where they're going. And we're going to talk about this now because these things are going to kind of work together. So we're going to have a big platform leading to our water streams that surrounds our village, okay? And it's going to be about 65 blocks from the center of our village. 65 is right here. I measured out 65. That's assuming that raiders spawn within 64 blocks of the village. I know assumptions get me into trouble, but I'm still making them. So theoretically, and I haven't seen any raiders spawn any further out than this, so I think we should be good. But theoretically, all our raiders should spawn on this platform, and we should be able to see them when they do spawn. And since we're going to be doing a floor in here anyway on top of this grass to make sure our animals didn't get in the system, I think this is probably the best way to go about this, at least according to the few minutes of thought I've put into it so far. I think this might be a good time for a disclaimer. This is not a tutorial for a raid farm. This is, you know, I'm just kind of winging this if you can't tell. Like, I'm kind of just making this up as I go along. And I am aware that there are raid farm designs out there. You guys have been kind enough to link those to me. But the thing is, I kind of want to experiment around, try to do something for myself before I give in and go with an established design that's guaranteed to work. I find this stuff kind of fun. So, yeah, just be aware of that. There's something else I think we should consider. If we do eventually get this thing working, we don't want it all to be stone brick, because that's going to be really gray and boring looking. So if we do eventually get this thing working, we want it to be a little bit prettier. So what I'm thinking is maybe we do a lot of stone, because I have a lot of stone to use. You know, I need to use it. I don't have time to go and harvest like I don't know how many thousands of blocks are going to need to cover this area, but I'm thinking maybe we can highlight this with some terracotta. Probably green terracotta to like kind of mimic the look of grass. We don't have a whole lot of terracotta left, so I might have to be kind of sparse with it, but I think that's what we might do. I'll have to go check on our supply. All right, I am back. I've brought what remains of our terracotta supply. Hopefully it's going to be enough to do what I want to do here. I'll kind of have to do some measurements and figure out like what kind of area what we have will cover. But yeah, I think we're ready to get started. So at this point, let's go ahead and call Watchdog out here. We'll put on a little bit of music and go ahead and try to get this platform built. You guys can feel free to use my trampoline if you want. Not gonna lie, it's pretty fun. Welcome back, everybody, and we have our platforms in here now. This was a lot of work, and I don't know, I'm hoping that we can justify the amount of time spent getting these in and the amount of resources used by having a system in here that actually does what it's supposed to do. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to chalk this up as a huge loss. But I'm thinking that at this point, what we need to do before we get the lighting and stuff in here, because as you can see, there's no lighting. I didn't want to waste any more blocks on this if I didn't have to, in case this doesn't work. So before we do that, I think what we should probably do, Watchdog left his slime blocks all over the place, clean up after this guy all the time. I think what we should probably do is go ahead and start another raid and just kind of test this thing out. One more thing to take into consideration, our back wall is too far back. With the glass panes there, we don't need the glass panes anymore. You know, we have our slime block pusher thing, so we can probably replace those with full blocks and be fine. I did clear out this chest so we can see what items we get from this next raid, just so I can kind of keep track of how much storage space we need for what, you know? But let's go ahead and get this raid started, and we'll see if our changes were worth the time and effort we put into them. So, problem number one, and yes, I'm going to number these problems because we're not off to the greatest of starts here, and I'm guessing there's going to be more than just this. Oh, hi. So problem number one was that we lost two of our raiders. We did find them, which is good. That's good. But they're not on the spawning platform, so I'm thinking I mismeasured our spawning platforms. Now, I'm not going to redraw them. But I do know that raiders only spawn on the surface, so even though they're under here, I'm thinking they spawn just outside of the spawning platforms and just walked under there. So what that could mean is that we just need to make the area right outside the spawning platforms non-spawnable for these guys. Will you get in the hole? I don't want to hurt you, just get in the hole. These guys are just not willing to cooperate with me. We are now on wave 2, and again we had raiders spawn out here, and they were under this again in the same area. So what I think we're going to do is just make the entire area surrounding this thing as non-spawnable as I can. And I think we're just going to do that with water to keep things simple for the time being. This is not going to end up looking very pretty, but right now we're not about making stuff look pretty. We're about making stuff work. That's my goal for this episode, as I've said. So I'm hoping that we can make that happen. I'm becoming less optimistic about it as we go along, though. And yet I'm still committing more and more resources to this. I'm trying to be stingy with the ice. That way we don't use up too much of it in something that may not end up the way we want it to end up. So I'm trying to make this go as far as we can, but I don't know. Oh, this is bad, guys. This is bad. I feel like these guys definitely spawned underneath this. And I was definitely under the impression that raids only occurred on the surface, which is why I built a platform, thinking that would be the new surface, but I don't know. At this point, I've used up all the ice I'm willing to commit to this project, and yeah, I think I'm going to try to make this water go as far as we can just by digging this area out and just letting it flow. I guess the only thing really left to do is kind of, you know, get the rest of this area taken care of, make it non-spawnable, and hope that works in keeping the raid spawns where they actually should be. But the only way we're going to know is to go ahead and get rid of this Ravager and start the next wave. Alright, so I believe this is going to be wave number 4. I'm hoping that all the raiders actually spawn on the platform now. I don't see how they could spawn anywhere else. I don't see anybody. There we go. That could be an issue. Yeah, they're not going in the water. So I think we can go ahead and call that problem number 2. This is going all kinds of wrong. Guys, just hanging out, huh? Just hanging out up there. Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and take care of these guys and make sure we have our entire raid party now taken care of. We're missing one. I'm hoping it's you. Please be you. It's not you. Oh, no, it's you. Yes. Okay, so our entire raid party did spawn on the platform that time. That's a plus. Problem number 1 might be taken care of. Maybe. Problem number 2, however, is something that is definitely going to need to be addressed. Because that is just ridiculous. On the plus side, they do all seem to be spawning on the platform. Our next wave begins now. And, ow. No, ow, no, ow. Okay, go away. No. Oh, no, my villager. What'd you do to my villager? Why? Why? That's so wrong. Man. No, no, you have to go. You have to go. Okay, oblivious evoker guy. Okay, Alright, we're a villager down. We now have mobs spawning inside of here. That's problem number 3. And where is this last guy? This is not great. Alright, so we did solve one problem in that the mobs were spawning outside, but in doing that, I think we created an even bigger problem. Wow, they are not messing around. They're just spawning in here now. They're just doing this, huh? So problem number 3, I think, is a really big one. No, you need to go. This is a huge issue. Leave him alone. Golem, you can't... No. No. All right. That's it. I've had enough of you people. I've had enough. Stop it. Leave. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I hit your monocle? I'm sorry about that. Oh. Vex. Why? Oh, this is bad. This is really bad. I am going to die here, aren't I? You know what? Let's run away. Let's run away. Let's regen. Wow. Let's think about if we want to continue with this. Let's pick this thing up first of all. Let's put that in our hand so that way we don't have to worry about that. And let's think about whether or not we want to continue with this project or just do something else that is a little bit more guaranteed to work. Oh man, guys, I am sorry. I am sorry you had to sit through this. Wow. Oh, let's turn this off. Go away, I'm tired of you guys. So yeah, apparently I was wrong about the whole mobs can't spawn within 32 blocks of a player thing. We clearly saw that just happen right here. Now I do think that might be a pretty simple fix, because considering that they can only spawn on the surface, at least that's what I'm still hoping. We could put a roof over this thing and then be fine if we make that roof non-spawnable, right? Throw some water down on top of that or something. That should keep those guys away, but the problem is at that point, like, what else is going to go wrong? We're kind of getting in the zone of the sunk cost fallacy, where we're continuing to work on this based on the investment we've already put into it, our time, our effort, you know, all that stuff. Is this really worth continuing? Or should I tear it down and go with something else? You guys know it's not really within my personality to just give up, so yeah, I think we're gonna continue to hammer away at this thing for some reason. All right, so right now we've got 2 strikes, 3, and we're out. So with this next attempt, we are either going to fail spectacularly or we're going to succeed, because I told you guys that I was trying to get this thing functional by the end of the episode. I'm willing to give it one more shot and hope that this works out. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and put a ceiling on this, so that way theoretically those guys won't be able to spawn in here. But I'm going to go ahead and raise this room up to the proper height if we're going to do that, in anticipation of what we could potentially build here, should this actually work out. So as far as our ceiling goes, I think I'm just going to use some more of this smooth stone slab just to kind of cover this up, hopefully make this non-spawnable area, and also make this the surface. We are doing this on the half slab level. I'm hoping that still counts. I've had to go and actually tear down our haste beacon, so I wasn't tempted to just tear down this entire farm so far. So I'm committed to this. I'm committed to giving this one more try. Let's hope it works. Now, as far as problem number 2 goes, what I'm thinking we could do is maybe just raise our water streams up a little bit, so that way when our evokers and whoever else, like all of our people that didn't want to go inside the water, once they make their way up to the edge here, they should already be in the water and be on their way down. So I'm thinking something like this might help with that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I feel like it's worth a shot. I feel like, you know, we're kind of running out of options here, but I think this should do what we want it to do, hopefully. And that is it. We've got the water going all the way around now, so we've addressed the major problem of problem number 3 and the kind of minor problem of problem number 2. I'm wondering, should I get rid of these trap doors? I really feel like they're no longer needed. I did not mean to come down here, but you know what? This brings us to another minor issue that we were having, and that's the fact that these glass panes over here were letting our mobs get too far away from us, and they are no longer needed since we put this mechanism in here. So I feel like I might as well go ahead and swap those out, right? So I'm thinking we use a combination of stone in the underground sections, obsidian where we're going to be standing and swiping at the wall, and then we'll run glass blocks, full blocks, all the way up to the top here. And that should accomplish what we want to accomplish with this section. Do we want to go up one higher with this? I can't remember how I set this up the first time. Yeah, it was spilling over like that, so that's probably how we want to do this. So our mobs will go like this and then get stuck here. No, that's not right. Let's go down one like this. And that should be it. Yeah, that seems to work. Okay. And with that all done, I think it's time that we go ahead and give this thing one final shot. So let's go ahead and call our raid party out here, or call the Pillager Captain out here. That's what he's called, right? The Pillager Captain. And hope that the changes we made do actually work. Because if they don't, I am packing up all my belongings, gathering my stuff, and taking these villagers back home. The raid has begun. I'm kind of taking some time to empty out this chest right here, so that way we can like get an accurate portrayal of what we get during actual raids and stuff. But yeah, no pillagers spawned in here for at least the first wave, so that's a good sign. All right, here comes wave 2. Let's hope that no pillagers spawn in here. All right, that's good, that's good. Let's see if we can see where they actually did spawn. Let's peek out our windows real quick. We do need to lure them over to us still. So there they are, and do we have any issues with them pathfinding into the water? We do not. They seem to go right into it. Alright, so that does seem to work. You can't hit me when you're bobbing, can you? Yeah, you can't aim. It's hard to aim when you're bobbing, isn't it? Yeah. Bummer. This guy's trying to track me. Let me get away. And with this, we begin wave number 3. Now, the good thing about this is that we do still have our farm running during the raid. So pillagers are continuing to get pumped over here, and we can continue to take them out, get their arrows and whatever else they feel like dropping at the time. And it keeps us occupied in the time between raids, which I think is good. Keeps me from getting bored. And you know, it might make sense for us to maybe try to mend up our tools while we're here doing this anyway. If we're going to do that, though, we probably do want to take off our armor. But then again, that might be tempting fate a little bit, because we're not sure if our ceiling right here is going to work. So maybe we won't worry about that quite yet. Until we know for sure that all our mobs are going to be spawning on the outside, which they should be, because they didn't spawn in here and there's nowhere else for them to really spawn. There they are right there. Okay, here they come. You know what? Maybe... I did say that if we fail, we're going to fail spectacularly, so maybe we go ahead and leave this off for the duration. Add a little bit of drama, you know? Alright, so this is where it starts getting a little bit dangerous, because now we're going to start dealing with a lot more of these guys coming in. We got a pretty good rhythm going here. Getting a little bit of XP for our pickaxe to mend up. Alright, here we go. Raid is beginning again. And good. It seems like they're probably outside. Alright. We're doing good so far. So I think the roof might work. What we've done so far is working. The bell is ringing. The next wave is about to come in. I am starting to feel a little bit positive. So game, if you're paying attention, this is probably the perfect time to break my confidence. Just shatter to pieces. The guys aren't in here. That's the main thing. Let's see if they're probably out on this side. They're not out on this side. Okay, yep. Game, you were listening. That's not good. Okay, well, it's not bad either. They spawned on top of the spawn room, which is not at all unexpected. We knew that was going to happen eventually. And as I said, if this does prove successful, what we could do is build that into a structure with a non-spawnable roof. That's a simple fix, but that's not something I wanted to get into unless we were sure that we were going to, you know, roll with this farm design. Which, you know, we might if this raid goes well. Alright, let's continue to mend up our pickaxe real quick, and we'll go ahead and initiate our next wave of pillagers. So this is about the point where I'm thinking if pillagers are going to spawn in here, they're going to do it right now. So I'm kind of bracing for it. Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness. And I believe this should be the last of them, so if it really is the last of them, then we have successfully made it through this raid without incident, which would be awesome to say. We did it. I want to make sure none of these guys hold banners. I don't want to start another one. Alright, let's go ahead and take these guys out real quick. Actually, let's go ahead and turn this thing off. We don't need any more of these guys coming in here. Alright, you're good. And we're done. Alright. Alright, so there's our loot. We did have a successful raid from this farm, which is good. So to sum up, it's not the quickest, it's not the most efficient, it's definitely not the easiest to build farm, but it does bring the mobs to us and it does keep us safe during raids, which is pretty much all I could ask for, you know? So overall, I think we are going to continue with the Eclipse Outpost build. I am clearly not wearing my Depth Strider boots or any armor at all for that matter. I am sorry about that. Let me go ahead and put these things on real quick. So yeah, I do think that is probably going to do it for us today, guys. Oh man. So if you have enjoyed this episode, please feel free to hit that little thumbs up button. That would mean a whole lot to me. If you want to see more, please remember to subscribe. And as always, I just want to thank you guys for hanging out today. I deeply appreciate it. And until next time, I am Lobo, and I will see you guys later.